Sentinel Online. Now loading the Geekcast radio network of podcasts.
You're listening to the Geekcast radio network of podcasts.
After half a century of opposition, the two largest world powers have finally begun working together. But now, just when we thought the Cold War was over, leave it to these guys to heat it up again.
May I kiss you again?
No, you may not.
Police Academy, mission to Moscow.
To kick many, many buttskis.
Those fearless spies from the Force are together again on a mission of peace and understanding. Because the Academy's finest will stop at nothing
Amerikansky police.
when it comes to fighting crime.
Do you have proof? Do we have proof?
They're not sitting down on the job.
Machina Boobski.
They're not being taken for a ride. And when it's time to use force, excess is best. They're about to show Russia just how ugly Americans can get. The Cold War may be over, but give them time. They just got here. Police Academy, mission to Moscow.
We are in deep forest.
Hello and welcome to the 57th episode of the M-Wire. Today we'll be finishing up the DVD spotlight on the Police Academy films. Yay! I am TF2 and Mike, and as usual I'm joined by Steve Megatron. Hello.
Yo.
How are you?
A little tired, but not as bad as the last few days.
Yeah. I'm a little frustrated, actually. I don't know what else to do, really. I'm getting tired of this. The network has been online for a year. Well, now it's a little over a year. But I will say that there are some episodes that the leveling could be a little bit better. But for the most part, the leveling seems to be fine for me. I keep my speakers at 32%. I don't... It's not like I blare them at 80% or 100% or anything like that. But I don't know where people are getting, the volume difficulties between my voice and everyone else's voice that I record with. And unless people want to donate to geekcastradio.com, head over to geekcastradio.com to donate. For us to get a mixing board, we don't... outside of whatever you use for editing, I don't have any volume leveling control whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of edit some of that, but to another side of it is it also depends on the audio levels of whomever happens to be in the episode, and even if they are equal, I think that for some reason that Pamela call recorder cuts everybody else but the host short in volume.
Why that is?
I don't know why that is either. I know the free one that I use doesn't do that, but at the same time it's very unpredictable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
I may look into a new version of Pamela and see how much better it is, but that new version is going to cost somewhere around $26, $27 after tax and all that crap. I might ask a buddy of mine that also uses it as well, and see what he says as far as that goes, and maybe I can figure out what this issue is. But honestly, guys, if you guys are, I don't even know anybody even listens to Movie Week in Review at all. I mean, we've gotten almost no feedback on this podcast whatsoever. And I'm not, trying to take away from the people that do leave feedback for Tooncast and Toycast and all that stuff. That's awesome, but it's like we've been doing this show just for ourselves for the past 57 weeks or however long it's been. Not really sure how many people are actually listening to MWire. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. But my finances are so not with me having to pay rent now, and just being able to survive each month. My finances are so tight, it's not even funny. And yeah, I've been getting a couple of toys here and there this month and everything else. But that was because I had everything else paid off. And I was trying to get Toycast up and running again. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know if people are listening at, like I said, higher volumes, because part of the comment that was on the website under Toycast 66, and I listened to that episode. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we are here to finish out Police Academy film series with Police Academy Mission to Moscow. And we'll also be talking about the TV series and the future of the franchise eventually. Did you ever see this one?
The seventh film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it once, and then I've kind of refreshed my mind on YouTube.
Uh-huh. Wasn't there something you had to retract or something or other about last week?
Yes, movie 6.
Yeah.
I'd have to say is not as good as, or is just as bad as 7. 7, I forgot about these key points, removes probably 60-70% of the main cast.
Mm-hmm.
So you have literally like 5 or 6 of the original cast, and then everybody else is new.
Mm.
They literally take out all elements of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. So, getting right into the plot here, Russian mafia boss Konstantin Kanali is laundering money under the guise of legitimate business. The business is a highly addictive video game that allows him to bring down almost any security system controlled by a computer on which the game has been played, with a string of major robberies as the result. Desperate to nail Kanali, Russian Commandant Alexander Nikolaevich Rakov sends for help from America. Rakov decides to bring someone he met at police convention, Commandant Eric Lassard, played by George Gaines. Lassard briefs his team about the mission in Russia, and they head to Moscow. Along with Lassard in Moscow are Sergeant Larville Jones, Sergeant Eugene Tackleberry, Captain Debbie Callahan, Cadet Kyle Connors, and Captain Thaddeus Harris. As they plan to nail Connolly, he has cooked up a new scheme, creating an even more addictive form of game, a version that can bring down absolutely any computer security system in the world, including systems that protect databases that belong to world powers. Okay, so it's pretty much Die Hard 4.
So, pretty much, we only have got 4 of the original characters returning.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, my bad, 5.
Yeah.
And then we've got Cadet Connors, which technically wasn't actually going, according to their little manifest that they were going to have go on the mission. He hacked the computer system and changed the name from the original guy that was actually qualified to go on the mission to himself.
Oh.
And then Lassard having happened to print this while it was changed.
Well, there is two good things about the new cast.
There aren't many of them?
Well, there's two good things about the new cast. Ron Perlman and Greg Berger.
That is true.
And of course, Greg Berger plays Lieutenant Talinsky, and Perlman plays the bad guy Russian dude.
Yeah, I didn't quite care for, like, this film. In general, well, I mean, to start it off, this was the only one of the film series that didn't make even $1 million. It made $126,000 in the U.S., making it the least successful movie in the series.
Wow.
And I guess the critic, Leonard Maltin, said if the United States and Soviet Union were still at odds, this film would make a great weapon. It would bore people to death.
Yep.
But yeah, and it sucks because Hooks and Hightower weren't in this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'm sorry, you need the entire cast, or the films just kind of suck.
Yeah.
It's the dynamic of all of them, whether they play a big part or not. You know, I mean, Hightower, shit, he was one of the bigger parts of the 6 films that were out before this. And Hooks, granted, she didn't have that huge of a part, but she was in all the other ones. I mean, and she served a purpose.
Yep. Yeah, you know, it's like we've said over the last 2-3 weeks that because M-Wire has kind of gone daily instead of weekly, which we will be getting back to weekly after this episode is done. But over the last couple of weeks that we've been reviewing these, honestly, just stop watching after film 4. Because 5, 6, and 7, 5 might have been alright. Maybe had
Five. I'll give it 1 through 5. Just for the sake of it, because 5 was pretty good. I mean, other than it not having Mahoney.
Yeah.
It was the last one in the series to actually have a point.
Yeah.
This one, why the hell would they send a police academy on a mission to Moscow to investigate a Russian crime lord?
Yeah, that makes
makes no sense. And then a video game with hidden, elements in it that cause people to get addicted. I mean, even the people that they had on the news broadcast on the show, like this old man, he's sitting there playing it. Shoot, even the guys from the Russian police squad are playing the game. God. And then the cadet, Connors, yes, he goes over and he helps that cop get to the next level so he didn't die, and then they start their briefing on Canali.
This is...
It was retarded, and then they called the video game The Game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the name of the game, The Game. And then Canali in this one wants to make an even more addictive game called The New Game. And it was so stupid. I mean, the only funny parts in this film were between Harris and Jones. I mean, Lassard spent 90% of the film, because when they were at their briefing originally, he got into the wrong car. They told him to get into this one particular car. He ended up riding with a funeral group and was with them the rest of the damn movie, pretty much. They went to go... I mean, he went with some Russian group, and they were at a funeral, and he's, just talking like people actually can understand him and care. And the other ones are actually doing their job. Harris, of course, is getting made fun of along the way, because they have a Russian equivalent to Harris, which is a douchebag. And so it makes you like Harris even more. And then there's various scenes in this movie that are kind of retarded but funny, and they have a scene where Larvell's getting shot at with a gun, and he's on a bicycle on one wheel, and then they hit the front spoke, and then it makes that ting sound like on the old Looney Tunes. And then it turns and goes the other direction, and then they shoot it, and it goes ting, and then he goes back the other direction.
Oh, so it's like the back and forth cowboy gag in the bar? Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. But, I mean, a lot of this film was pointless and repetitive. It was just... You could tell that they were on their last legs with this film.
Yes.
You could just tell.
Yeah.
And for one... It was done by a woman that had never directed a feature film before. It was her feature film debut.
Yikes.
It was not, like, and I'm not blaming her totally because, I mean, it is a lot of the time the writing.
Yeah.
But these guys had nothing to do with the series. Like, this whole film was based on characters created by the original guys. So, I mean, this whole film was kind of a slap in the face to the rest of the police academy. Like, you could even get away with saying the sixth one belonged with the series, despite the fact it was horrible.
Yeah.
Because it was all in the same setting, it was all the same cast. They hit this Mission to Moscow thing, and it just tanked. I mean, with this film, you could kind of tell who, if they were to bring back this film series for an eighth one, you could tell who would probably come back. Like, I think personally, like, I mean, other than Graff, because he's unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
Michael Winslow, would come back. He's been in every element of the Police Academy series. I believe Leslie Easterbrook would probably show up again.
Yeah.
And probably G.W. Bailey would probably show up.
I would like to see...
I think I would like to see an eighth film over a reboot, because they could actually go back to the element that was among the first and fourth film and get as many of the original cast back as they could.
It
and
depends.
Finish it off right.
Right, and I agree with that, but it depends on... See, for me, there's two types of way they can do this. They can go the route of saying Police Academy 8 or Police Academy, however they want to title it, and it be a continuation. Say they ignore the continuity of the first... Say they ignore the continuity of the last three films, 5, 6, and 7, and say they, have Gutenberg come back, and maybe it's a Police Academy of today, and it's set in today's, like right now time.
Yeah.
Police Academy of the future, something that's not what the original films were, but it's still the same people. Or they could do a complete reboot, bring up all of the old cast that are still with us.
And have them as, like, their mentors or something.
Yeah.
Kind of like they're doing with Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
Because I would be alright with that, but they would still need to have some kind of homage and some kind of thing with the original cast.
They would
kind of
have to
passing of the
find...
torch.
Yeah, they would have to find some sort of... If you're gonna... Like, I never got the appeal of Tackleberry.
I liked him, despite the fact he was a weird character.
I just... And again, out of the whole time that we've been reviewing these, I haven't had a chance to really refresh my memory from the films. I mean, as we've talked about, like, 3 and 4 and 5, I kind of remember them. Really, the only one that I've watched the entire time that we've been doing these 7 episodes is the first film. And in the first film, I didn't really get him. I didn't really understand his... I mean, I know he's Mr. Gun Happy and must shoot everything and all that stuff, but there's only so many times you can do that character over 7 films or 8 films or whatever. But my point is, I would like if they find like old stock footage or something, some way to homage him since he is no longer with us. Like, say he went out in a blaze of glory or something, trying to defend the city or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not really too sure how how this potential reboot is, or potential remake, or potential new film is going to work. Has Gutenberg said, and I haven't really read I've read the news articles, but I haven't really kept up with it. Has Gutenberg even said he would come back?
He never did say one way or the other. I think that it would be better if he did.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've already lost one of the original cast. And I'm pretty sure that pretty much everybody else that was in this film, Jones, Callahan, Lassard, Harris, I'm pretty sure they'd all come back for another film.
Yeah.
And Gutenberg, I think he wanted to direct an 8th film, but there were too many hang-ups on the writing and gathering of the original cast, because he wanted to do basically a return to the first film. Like, he wanted everybody from the first film and then continue on from where basically this piece of shit left off.
Yeah.
But it would be back in their own element, their own home, and that kind of stuff. And there were talks of them having David Spade as one of the cops, and some other people like that. Which, I mean, granted, I could see probably David Spade being in this again, in this saga again.
Yeah, I don't know, because when did he appear in it? Was it 3 or 4?
It was 4.
4.
Because it was the last one with Mahoney and the first one with Harris coming back.
Right. And that was... 4 was released in what, 87, 88?
Something around that.
I'd have to go back and look at the script.
I think it was 88.
Oh, okay.
Because I think 89, the other film, or no, it might have been 87, because there was 88 and 89 that they had the 5th and 6th films, and then there was a gap until 94 for the 7th film.
Right.
So, I mean, and yes, we've kind of transitioned from the 7th film into, revivals. 7th film, don't ever watch it. Just leave it at that. As for, the 8th, I would say I would rather see them do this over a reboot. Because, let's face it, who are you going to get that is going to be basically a giant to play Hightower? I mean, they could pretty much throw about anybody into hooks. I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch. Hightower would be the difficult one to cast. Harris would be a difficult one to cast. Lassard, get Leslie Nielsen to fill in for that.
No.
I mean, as bad as he is, I mean, he would be a pretty close pass off. They have the pretty much same acting style.
The problem with that theory of replacing George Gaines with Nielsen is too over the top. I mean,
I know that. Whereas Gaines is kind of just like nonchalant, like, oh, it's supposed to be like this, just
yeah.
It's just normal.
I would not want Leslie Nielsen anywhere near this franchise.
Well, I would before putting some other person in the spot, because I don't think anybody else could do it. Callahan, you'd have to get somebody, kind of similar. Tackleberry, you'd have to get some goofy guy like that. Larvell Jones, there's no way in hell they could replace.
There's no way you can replace Michael Wilson. Not Michael Winslow. There we go.
Yeah, we'll put Michael Wilson in there.
Yeah, really.
Sing his songs.
Michael Wilson can be Tackleberry, or Tackleberry's version, seeing as how he plays all kinds of blow 'em up video games.
True. But I mean, like, you couldn't replace Winslow. I mean, they already replaced Mahoney basically with the other Captain Lassard.
Yeah,
and it was just, I don't know. It would be a difficult recast for a reboot. I mean, they'd have to basically just completely redo it, which would be a completely different film series. So there's really no good way of bringing it back other than to do an 8th film and just end it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this, after all the last, decade, other than the new films, pretty much superhero films or just new elements into it, everybody's been going back to stuff from the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, we are so gonna have a remakes suck episode of Geekcast Radio. We're gonna have to get going on some of that episodes, but yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where,
and I'm not necessarily sure they should redo it or come back to the series because there's no telling what it would do. But is Indiana Jones 4? They could have done without just because. I'm not a big fan of LaBeouf, but he the film, I haven't seen it. Don't really care to, honestly, but I heard it did well enough. And then there's Die Hard 4, which did good. And there's becoming more. They've been talking about more sequels like Ghostbusters 3, Men in Black 3, which hopefully, if they were using Rip Torn, they got him before he got in trouble with the law.
yeah,
It's stuff like that. They're making comebacks to the old series and then making an additional film just to continue them.
yeah.
And for the most part, they're all ending them. Other than like Indy and Die Hard, which I think they're going to go to a fifth film and then cut it off. But there's some other series that I wish that they would come back to, like Beverly Hills Cop and some other ones. But besides the point, Police Academy 8 would be in their better interest. Even though now it's kind of dropped since March, and now they've been talking about a reboot.
Yeah. Again, a lot of these thoughts that I'm having are more for a Geekcast Radio episode versus this episode. So, Police Academy got an animated series.
Yes.
The animated series, I think I remember seeing one or two episodes just from the information that I've gathered from Wikipedia. The animated series sucks ass.
Yeah, I would have to say so. And,
I'm just gonna... go ahead.
And it's... they've got a lot of weird characters in this show.
It's not even about the weird characters. I'm going to read the little synopsis here really quick. The animated series takes place chronologically between the fourth and fifth film of the series of films. 12 characters are recreated for this animated version, including a team of Academy graduates led by Carrie Mahoney, a likable rogue bachelor boy who unconsciously and consistently does his best to make life miserable for Captain Harris and his knucklehead assistant, Sergeant Proctor. Mahoney's friends include the aptly named Moises Hightower, walking sound effects machine Larville Jones, trigger-happy Eugene Tackleberry, sweet and timid Laverne Hooks, tough as nails Debbie Callahan, larger-than-life House, and bread-and-butter duo of reformed gang member Zed and his best buddy Sweet Chuck. Eric Lassard is the highly respected, albeit dreamy, commandant, an Academy newcomer. The professor is also on hand to the cadets' new friends. The Canine Corps, a group of cop dogs, then stalking our crime-fighting heroes with endless supply of wacky gadgets as they combat motley crew of Kingpin and other recurring villains such as Numbskull the Claw, Mr. Sleaze, Lockjaw, and Amazonia. Okay, just by going off of that, they have evidently they've ripped off Dr. Claw, Odd Job, or who else could be equated to Lockjaw? Odd Job. Damn it, I don't know. And Amazonia could be a Wonder Woman ripoff. The biggest problem I have with this series, and I haven't seen it in a very long time, is the voice cast. The voice cast in this is just, ugh. Why would you make an animated series off the films and not use the film actors? Unless you couldn't get them, then don't make the damn series. You have Ron Rubin, never heard of that guy, as Carrie Mahoney. Dan Hennessy, I think I've heard of him, but he plays.
I've heard of him.
He plays Zed and Eugene Tackleberry. Howard Morris as Carl Sweetchuck and the Professor, never heard of Howard. Greg Morton, never heard of him, as Larvell Jones and Moises Hightower. How the fuck can you have a cartoon with Larvell Jones in it and not get Michael Winslow to voice his own fucking character? That makes no damn sense to me whatsoever.
Frank Welker's additional voices.
Well, yeah, but that's beside the point. Len Carlson as Captain Thaddeus Harris, Don Franks as Thomas House Conklin and Proctor. Oh God, no.
That's another thing I gotta say. They didn't have Proctor in the 7th film either.
Oh yeah, wow. That's not good either. Really quick, there's some VHSs of this thing floating around. I don't think there was. Yeah, there's no DVDs of this yet. So, and then there was action figures. Do you have any Police Academy action figures?
No, but now I'm gonna look for some.
Oh Christ! Look out, eBay.
Oh, I'd probably get a Mahoney, a Larvell Jones, and a Harris figure. That'd be the shit right there.
You need to make sure that they have the likeness of the film characters.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't get them otherwise. There would be no point if they don't look like their characters.
Let me just go through this really quick. Series 1 in 1988, you had Carrie Mahoney and Samson Dog, Claw with Mouser Cat. See, again, Dr. Claw and Mad Cat. What the fuck? Eugene Tackleberry with Armed Flak Vest. Well, duh. Larvell Jones and Bullhorn. Oh, wow. If that has Michael Winslow's likeness, I want one of those. Oh, man. It'll be so out of place in my toy collection, much like Justice League Lobo is, but whatever. Moises Hightower and Meter Reader Scooter. Oh, good lord. That doesn't sound too good. Mr. Sleaze with Photo Dog. Numbskull with Smashing Helmets, and Zed and Police Skateboard. Series 2, you had Captain Harris, was a mail away. Oh, damn, that sucks. SWAT, Eugene Tackleberry with Fistzuka. Flung High with Crazy Karate Gear. Kingpin with Thief Trap Safe. Karate Larville Jones. Oh boy, I wonder what that one looks like. Holy crap. And then in 1989, they had a Special Assignment Rookies line. Undercover Carrie Mahoney, Smack Attack House with Hoagie Blaster, Stakeout Sweet Chuck was a mail away, Sky Glidin' Zed with Hang Glider. Oh, good lord. And then also in 88, there was Vehicles and Playsets. Crash Cruiser, Cycle Crash with Figure, Precinct Police Station, and Copper Corner released through Josco. That's kind of interesting. I'd like to see some of those Larvell Jones figures, though. That would be really cool. But go ahead.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing,
yeah,
thus far of the figures, no, you don't.
Okay.
You don't even want them. They appear like they're animated selves.
Oh no.
They're none like the films, which I think that would be something cool to see them come back with. I mean, considering they're going back and doing Ghostbusters and Back to the Future and all that kind of stuff, I would like to see them go back and do some of those.
Yeah.
Like maybe from the first film and then just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So on that note, I think we're gonna end this.
Oh, there was a TV show.
Oh yeah, there was, but do we really?
And it was short-lived, and it had the only character from the Police Academy films was Larvell Jones, Michael Winslow. That was the only returning character for the films to the TV show.
Yeah,
Which all the clips for this are now lost on, as far as internet goes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I I will say this: the Police Academy figures, like the logo looks the same, and then they tried to have the little look of how they did on the cases of the videos.
Mm-hmm.
But the figures look like utter ass.
Okay.
Like they look nothing like. They look like some cheap figure you'd buy at Big Lots. And their base is the precinct is basically a half-built Batcave from the early 90s.
Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So basically we're gonna run screaming away from the Police Academy toys.
yes, if they were actually accurate, I might actually consider it. Since they look nothing like their actual movie characters, there's no way in hell I'd pay upwards of, I mean, they go from $2 to like $50 for some of the figures. And
Are you serious?
I swear to God. And so the base is $200 on here. And it's
Why would you?
they're such shit quality. I would never pay for these. I wouldn't have bought them back in the day.
I got an idea now. But
I was too busy collecting Masters of the Universe, Ninja Turtles, and Batman figures back in the day to worry about crap that has no detail.
yeah, I got an idea for a topic discussion for Toycast. So that's it's a good thing we talked about these toys, because else I wouldn't have that idea. But anyways, I think we're gonna end this journey down the rat hole of holy hell. Thank you for joining us here on MWire Movie Week in Review. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each episode post. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. We need to know you're listening. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRN MWire. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
SCP-21.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of MWire and wish you'll join us next time when we'll be reviewing Paparazzi. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Steve Megatron Phillips. And in the voice, or in the quote from G.W. Bailey, "Don't ever touch my balls without asking permission first."
Thank you for listening. Until next time, I could have so done without that.
What did he say?
Well, he said that you had a marvelous attitude and that you were a pleasure to work with, sir.
I'm going to keep my eye on you.
Konstantin Konali, Russian mafia godfather. His brother and second in command, Mikhail Konali. Konstantin Konali is involved in extortion, gambling, fencing jewelry, arms dealing, but he does not choose to involve himself
Too much cabbage.
in day-to-day running.
This one's for you, kid. Now check this.
There. Don't miss. Ready, get up.
Bartender, margarita, please.
There you go, Monsieur Bond.
How about a Perrier? And a bottle.
nuts. I got fresh shit right over here. Here you go. Catch it, lady. There you go, mister. No, it didn't reach you long enough. You never make the team. Here's one more for you. Off top side. Oh, I got you. There you go, Mr. Bennett.
Sorry, lady.
Who wants nuts? Right over here. Whoppy.
Today, we have shown people everywhere.
In a world, there, I said it, happy,